Warning, the following episode of the Blackwell podcast contains spoilers from all episodes of Life is Strange.
Hi, welcome to the Blackwell podcast, where we love Life is Strange more than Hayden loves his dank OG bud. Today, as always, I am here with Jamie and Jess.
Hello.
Hey.
And I'm Joey, and we're going to talk about the Vortex Club. Mm-hmm. I'm actually pretty excited about this episode.
It's going to be kind of different, because we mainly talk about just individual characters, but it's going to be kind of interesting because we're going to be talking about a group in general and just the origin of the Vortex Club. And obviously we're bringing back Everyday Heroes this week, and then have a little announcement at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's going to be fun.
Right.
So anyway, let's get this ball rolling, shall we?
Sounds
Party.
good.
Oh, yeah, it is a party.
Mm-hmm. Literally a party.
Let's go drug Kate Marsh while we're at it, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a bit extreme.
I know.
Not that kind
So
of
in order to
party.
get in the mindset of this, we've all done a lot of drugs.
Yep.
We've all drugged a lot of people.
There's
And
Advil.
we've been generally just mean all day to anybody that we could.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, kids, stay in drugs, don't do school, eat your teeth.
There are absolutely bugs crawling on your skin, and you should pick at them.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Obviously, we do not condone the usage of drugs.
Except prescription.
Right. And so let's talk about what the Vortex Club is, what it started as, and what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So originally, interesting enough, it was kind of like a refuge for the outcasts, you know, for the people that didn't fit into like the mainstream cliques of the school, and so it's completely different from what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be interesting. Well, yeah, obviously it changed somehow. Was there actually any confirmation of how it changed, or?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Damn. That would have been really nice to see, like, when exactly it changed.
Mm-hmm.
So, what it is.
I want to know how it was called, the Vortex Club.
I think it's...
We'll probably touch on it later. I mean, we've got a ton of notes here, so...
Oh, okay. Alright.
Anyway.
I imagine the switch came from sort of like a gentrification thing. Like, I imagine it was starting to, like, gain some traction, and then the popular people were like, you know, no, this isn't going to happen. They're starting to become more popular than we are, so they kind of took it over.
And they got sucked into a vortex.
Oh.
Mind blown.
So it started in the 80s, right?
Yeah, around Reagan's era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which Ronald Reagan, he was in office till 83, I think. I don't know, I'm not sure, but
Great guy.
Wait, wasn't he president in 1985?
Was he?
I think so.
Maybe he started in 81. I don't know.
Otherwise,
I don't
Back
like
to the
him.
Future lied to me.
What?
But we're not gonna get into the politics of Reagan.
Another topic. Another day.
Yeah, definitely not Life is Strange related.
So now you know, it's for the cool kids. It's for the popular people. It's funded by the Prescotts.
Mainly Sean.
Right. Which I guess for all intents and purposes, you could say Sean is kind of the leader of the Vortex Club.
Yeah.
Not so much at the school, but I mean, he funds it.
And Nathan, like, moderates.
Right. Like, Nathan and Victoria are like the big figureheads of it.
Mm-hmm.
The big president and vice president, I guess, if you will.
Right.
That's sort of unofficial. Also interesting enough that when at Kate's attempted suicide or suicide, depending on how you play it, Sean sends a particularly impending and frightening letter to Wells saying that, it would be against his best interest and the school's best interest to keep the party going, or to stop the party, I should say.
Right.
Even though we didn't hear anything about Sean Prescott, I know cringe, hearing his name, because he's kind of responsible for, like, if, God, this is going to sound like a really, really dumb theory, I'm just saying it out loud, but if Sean wasn't mean to Nathan, right, Rachel would still be alive, and then this whole Life is Strange ball wouldn't be rolling, right?
Right.
Right, yeah.
Nathan would be involved with Jefferson. Jefferson would have hardly have any access to the Prescott funds, none at all. Yeah, that's what I think anyway.
Right. I mean, that's yeah, that held some weight to it, some validity, I think. Also, too, I think that Sean probably played a large part in the switch of it from being like the kind of the outcast refuge for them, the marginalized and the ones that were picked on and the people that didn't really fit in, the outcasts, and switching it to what it is today. I think Sean was probably, and that's probably why he funds it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that kind of tradition going from,
right.
Just let the cool kids run it. Right, so we should probably start talking about probably the only experience that we have with the Vortex Club party, and that's in episode 4, towards the end of it.
And that's the end of the world party that is, which has been confirmed that due to budgetary constraints, that's why it's at the pool.
Yeah.
But
it's a good place for a party, though.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty...
I mean, you could just throw pool noodles at people. All that good nonsense stuff. Yeah. I mean, in episode 4, you just go in looking for Nathan because Rachel's deaded, and yeah. You try and talk to people and see their experience in the club, like all the different cliques.
Right.
Like Brooks off in the corner with Daniel, if you kind of follow that path. Like Justin is in the bathroom just completely high.
Yeah, he's wasted. It's so you have the Vortex Club party, the end of the world party broken down. You have the VIP section where it's like where your actual like Vortex party is, or Vortex Club is, and then you have like the rest of the area, which is where everybody else is, and it's kind of weird that some people even showed up. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess if you are living at the school and there's a big party, you go.
Yeah.
I was kind of replaying that episode really recently. Alcohol was only given to the people part of the VIP list, right?
Right.
Why was Warren acting drunk then?
I mean, I'm sure it was easy enough to get it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He probably had it. He probably brought it in.
Right. And it's never really expressly stated, but I don't think it's too far of a fetch to think that too far-fetched can't talk too far-fetched to think that Warren would be friends with people like Justin and Trevor and stuff like that. So to some degree,
he's definitely not on the VIP list. So
right.
Because that episode he did beat the crap out of Nathan.
Right.
So yeah, it's understandable why he isn't on that list.
I mean, if he previously was, then
he definitely isn't anymore.
Yeah.
And kind of going back to the Vortex Club itself, it's kind of interesting to see that Jefferson has a somewhat part of it as well.
Right.
With like Stella had a job there,
right.
like collecting coats and all that stuff and bags, and she got that because of Jefferson, as well as announcing the Everyday Heroes contest, winner at the end, like midway at the end. I don't know when.
This kind of like, I mean, it's understanding pacing wise with the story why this reveal happens, but it's kind of revealed more that like before Jefferson actually shoots Chloe, this is kind of like a revelation, if you haven't already suspected, that Jefferson is in cahoots with Sean, with the Prescotts somehow. The fact that he's there, like he's really the only chaperone, quote unquote. He's not even really doing that, but he's there. There's alcohol being served to these underage kids. He's not doing anything about that. The fact that, yeah, he's essentially kind of heading it up as the Blackwell, what's the word?
Representative,
like organizer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, he, like you said, he gives Stella the job of, door management and stuff like that. So this is kind of like revealing that he's in cahoots with the Prescotts, and he's not the jovial little hipster.
And even if you kind of blame Jefferson, he ends up at the party anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And what Principal Wells said, he's not going to be any part of the Everyday Hero contest anymore, right?
Right, or he's not going to, right.
Yeah, so it'll be no point of him actually announcing it. So it would be kind of suspicious to see him there announcing the winner of the contest.
Yeah.
But, like most people, they blame Nathan or David, so they wouldn't have a clue.
Right.
So
at least the first time you played through.
Yeah, then you realize it's like, blame him. Why are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Just like revelation in your face, just staring at you.
And then at the beginning of episode 5, if you do manage to successfully warn Victoria, she goes to Jefferson, and then Jefferson puts her in the dark room. So, but I mean, by this point, you already know that Jefferson's the bad guy because he shoots Chloe in the head
and drugs you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Victoria then. She's one of the most like notable. We'll say Nathan is the most notable, but we've already discussed him. He has his own episode.
Yeah.
So I guess we can quickly hit on that, and then if you want to know more about what we think about Nathan, like more about Nathan, you can listen to that episode, which I think we did a pretty decent job with that one.
Yeah, it was just me and Joey in that episode.
Right,
if you watch the Metallic episode, you do.
I'm just kidding.
Jess's artwork.
So. Yep.
Right.
That was the last episode that it was just me and Jamie.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So.
Jess, what do you think? Since you weren't with us on our Nathan episode, why don't you tell us what you think about Nathan?
What I overall think about Nathan, or just the Vortex Club?
Just Nathan right now.
Just Nathan? Okay. Well, okay, so obviously when I first played it through, I wasn't a huge fan of him. Obviously, I blamed him because I thought it was all his fault, just pretty much like everybody else, up until episode 5. And yeah, I never really, I mean, I always found him kind of I don't know, I didn't really like him, so I couldn't say I've always found him a sweetheart or anything, but once, obviously once I found out that it was Mr. Jefferson and that he was just using Nathan, I kind of had this feeling of regret, because it wasn't all totally his fault, because he was just being used for his family's wealth, and he kind of just was taken under Mr. Jefferson's wing, and I kind of just thought things, and you guys probably agree with me when I say that I kind of feel bad about what happened with him, and his end, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. I don't fully blame him anymore. Obviously, I feel like it's totally Mr. Jefferson's fault. But and I think he's I don't know, playing back everything, he still does kind of act like a dick, but he's still he's just misunderstood, I feel like, and I don't think he's really the bad guy he's not really the antagonist, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, so.
I also not at all excusing his actions, because
Oh yeah,
the particular like mental ailments that he might have, it kind of puts you where sometimes you're not in control of your own emotions, and it's really, really sad. It's not like I pity you sad, but I mean it's a shame that he wasn't able to get the help that he needed. You know,
Right.
that Sean didn't care, that Dr. Jacoby wasn't willing to go further with Nathan, which that's a Twin Peaks reference, by the way. I like that, but yeah. So yeah, like I understand what you're saying, Jess. Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
you do kind of feel bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of doing a little bit of a throwback to. I'm really gonna misquote this, but when we interviewed Hannah, she had an interesting perspective, you know, on like what Max would think about Nathan throughout the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Eva ending, you know, even though, you know, Max kind of sympathized with Nathan at some degree because, you know, she knew that she was being manipulated by Jefferson. You know, he still wasn't doing the right thing at all.
Right.
Just going the wrong way around it.
Right.
Yeah, but Jess, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with that explanation about
Great.
Nathan.
Perfect.
And so Nathan is probably the closest thing to a best friend, maybe even more. It's maybe even more to Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they're.
Everyone has their theories.
Yeah.
I think they're cute.
So Victoria Marybeth Chase, we kind of wanted to, if there was enough stuff, we would have given her own episode. But there's just, I don't know. I feel like we wouldn't have been doing her character justice to try and stretch it out for, you know, an hour or so. So we're going to do all of it. We're going to do all the characters. Mostly we're going to focus on Victoria, but we're going to touch on all the other Vortex Club characters as well.
Because if we did talk about Victoria for an entire episode, it would mainly be about speculation.
Right.
We're not really comfortable about doing an hour just saying maybe, you know, just some
Right.
maybes and what ifs instead of, you know, just doing what we know for definite.
Mm-hmm.
Like with all the other characters that we're going to be talking about. Because looking through this list, we actually have quite a few names. We have about 10 or so, if I'm counting correctly.
Something like that, yeah.
Right, yeah. Wait, we might as well get to Victoria then.
Right. So we all know Victoria. We all have probably pretty strong opinions. I'm not trying to put words in your mouths, dear listeners, but I imagine you feel pretty strongly in one way or the other about Victoria. She's kind of, well, not kind of. I mean, she's rude. She's mean. She's a dick. Like, but we kind of see her own insecurities play out too. That, you know, maybe we kind of, again, not to justify these terrible actions, but we kind of see where she's coming from, at least, or why she's doing this, at least. But she is kind of one of the big figureheads of the Vortex Club. She's kind of the queen bee, I guess you could say. I mean, that was her archetype. She was the rich girl.
Yeah, I mean, well, Victoria is just a bit. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with Victoria.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm kind of relating to her insecurity side of her. I'm kind of like leaning towards her, but then, kind of what she did to Kate just made me like want to just push her off the roof, see how she likes it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of like in a balance of like, I don't know how I feel about it, but we can kind of touch about her story a little bit, and then, you know, maybe I can actually make a decision then. She's
attractive. I guess I'll say that. I do not like her personality at all, though. Mm-hmm. But I like her haircut and her sense of style. I don't know. I don't hate her. I don't particularly care for her, though. I don't particularly like her.
I mean, she's alright. I mean, the one thing I really don't really like about her is that, probably everybody does this, where they hide interests that they don't really want anyone to know about, right? Mm-hmm. They're kind of putting on a shell of who they are, which no one should really do that. I mean, if you're doing that, you're kind of hanging out with the wrong crowd. You should just be who you are. And I just went way too real there.
So the moral of the story is...
don't be fake. Eat some cake.
Yeah.
But right, so if you go into her room after she snuck out, you find that she what's the name of the show that she it's like an anime?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Does it have a name?
I don't know. Come back to it. I'll look it up real quick.
Okay. Right. But what we do know about Victoria, she is like quite the talented photographer, which largely comes from the fact that she can afford a lot of expensive equipment. There's like a certain point where with like really any artistic medium, you can buy really expensive equipment, learn how to use it, and you're going to have nice photos. They may not be super artsy, but I mean, there's a lot of famous photographers and all that aren't particularly super artsy with their pictures, and that's fine, especially like in photojournalism, because you're not supposed to be. You're like, you want some style to it, but you're capturing what's happening. So I think if you have the money to buy a super nice, like if you got a full body DSLR, you're going to take good pictures with it if you know even just the least little bit of what you're doing. So you could argue that that's part of why she's a good photographer. But I mean, she does have a background in art. I mean, her parents own an art studio or a gallery. So I don't know. I think she does have a pretty good artistic eye, I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's also quite the fashionista.
Oh yeah, but she's a cookie thief though.
Yeah, she does steal Max's cookies.
Yeah, put the cookies down. Yeah, I can't seem to find anything about that anime figure though. Well,
right.
Which is a shame. Anyway, if there is a name for it, leave it in the comments. We will greatly appreciate it.
Right.
This is kind of a off the wall kind of Victoria Chase kind of thing here that we're kind of talking about.
Little secret to Victoria Chase. So basically what we're talking about is an optional photo. There's a glow-in-the-dark figure that Victoria has in her room that you can take a picture of, and you kind of find it, and Max remarks on it that, Victoria has a secret nerdy side to her.
Plus, there's a little fun fact here. It's possible that the name Victoria Chase was chosen as a nod to Joss Whedon. Considering in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there was a character called Cordelia Chase, and there is a car with the license plate BFF VMPR and it possibly could be hers because that means Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, little fun fact there.
That is fun. Wow. It's very fun. I had fun. No, that's really cool. So here's what just frankly pisses me off about her. Her antagonizing Kate. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know. I don't know. I think a big part of us are pretty protective of Kate. I think a big part of this fandom are pretty protective of Kate, and not even just even if you don't like Kate, Victoria, what she does is like way
just awful.
Okay. Here's the difference between like what bullying used to be and what bullying is now. Bullying used to be one of those things that's always been terrible, but now it's become so much more intrinsic. If you're suffering from it, or if you're doing it, which you should not be doing it at all. And I'm going to go so far as to say that, like, if you're the kind of person that does that, probably don't listen to our podcast. At least don't. I don't know. Don't ever try to be friends with me, because I don't tolerate that crap. But anyway,
I don't think. Sorry to interrupt here, but I don't think bullies know exactly that they are bullying. If that makes any sense, like to them, like they think like maybe like teasing is like just like bullying in somebody's case is just like teasing or taunting somebody. But like I totally agree with what you're saying. It's totally unacceptable. But I don't know. I feel like going back to when I was younger, like. Kids didn't really think of what they were doing as bullying. They thought of more like, just goofing off or joking, or you know what I mean?
Right.
No, yeah, but you're totally right.
And like if there's any really terrible after effects, I guess that's kind of when they sink in, like, oh, maybe what I'm doing isn't good. And that's when they kind of have to change their life around. But it's sad knowing that people do that after that effect has been made,
right?
Which is shown in episode 2, 3, and 4, if I remember correctly, because Victoria does dedicate the award to Kate Marsh.
Right.
She did write the card for her if Kate did survive. All that kind of evidence pointing towards that kind of side of things.
Mm-hmm. And
she kind of does care about that.
There's a lot of great like charitable movements out. I mean, the official Life is Strange stuff has even done work with it about raising awareness about what bullying and harassment is, and trying to stamp it out. But going back to what I was saying is, so before social media was a thing, before it was super easy to just be like a constant part of each other's lives with Twitter, Facebook, et cetera, it was more or less, you knew you had a break from it when you went home.
Yeah, like
from
a safe
school.
haven.
Right. I mean, obviously there are some extreme cases where that wasn't the case, but now with social media, it's gone on to, people make fake websites about people. We see it in this game, katesvid.com. So it's a completely different animal than it was. I mean, the underlying thing is still there, but it's completely different, and I hate it. I've been on both sides of it. There's definitely times that I did it to people. I'm not proud of it, if we're being real here. But I was also, the victim of it too, which I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been. So I don't know. That's one reason why I don't like Victoria. Getting back on topic here. But we do kind of see she does show some remorse, at least. She's not
heartless.
Yeah.
Right.
So at least she does show some remorse toward it, but she's Victoria, why?
I mean, it's kind of nice to see her kind of change around before, she eventually dies if you kind of convince her of the Vortex Club. It's kind of a shame that's the point where she kind of changes her mind about Max. And then, not even 24 hours later, Jefferson kills her.
Right.
Messed up to think about it like that.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about Victoria a little bit more, or would you like to move on to our next person that we have on the list?
I think there's probably a couple more things because we see her also being kind of antagonistic of even the people that are close to her.
Oh yeah, like Courtney,
Taylor.
I can only think of those two.
They're her lackeys.
Yeah.
Sidekicks, yeah.
There's even, I mean, she's even kind of a contested person in the Vortex Club itself, because I know, Dana and Juliette aren't particularly fond of her.
And oh boy, I'm losing it here. I'm trying to remember. Oh no. Yeah, it's either people in the Vortex Club either really fond of Victoria, or like they're kind of afraid of her, I guess.
Right.
Or they just talk about her constantly behind her back. Then just, put on a brave face like, hey Victoria, how's it going? But I kind of want to touch about Taylor a little bit before we actually move away from Victoria, knowing that Victoria does actually care about what's happening to Taylor's mother at going through surgery and all that stuff.
Right.
It was an interesting thing to see in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, episode 2. Knowing that Victoria actually does care about her friends, even though it doesn't look like it on the surface.
Right. At least of Taylor, yeah.
Courtney, you don't see that much love to her.
There's some evidence to suggest that Courtney's kind of that 3-man group, or that three girl group. Courtney's kind of the bottom rung. She's bottom tier of that. Yeah. But we'll get more into Courtney and Taylor. But so the biggest thing that Victoria doesn't like Juliette, mainly because Juliette does like kind of an expose about bullying at the school, and it focuses on Victoria's hand in it. So Victoria then sex with Zach, and Zach in return sex back. That's a weird word to say out loud. So, and Juliette blames Dana, which is kind of our big introduction into Dana and Juliette. So, why don't we start with Dana, who is
the accused.
The accused, yeah.
I mean, Dana is like the kind of the stereotypical cheerleader type.
Mm-hmm.
If I can kind of say that, because she loves the school. She has very strong school spirit, kind of seen by a room with like the Bigfoot's kind of banner in the back.
Right.
The like the cheerleader school group photo. I don't know what it's called. And yeah, but she kind of does have a more deeper character than just being the ditzy kind of blonde person.
Right. And she's super sweet too.
Yeah.
She's like my second bae after Chloe.
It's kind of off-putting to know that Dana is voiced by Danny Knights, who is the voice of Victoria.
Right.
Because in episode 1, you kind of see the contrast of their character types, and it's like it took me a while to actually believe it was the same person, but it just shows the actor, Danny's characterization of both characters is just really well done.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, where should we start off with? Not Victoria, Dana.
So, Dana is initially accused of cheating on her friend Juliette's boyfriend Zach,
right?
Or cheating with Zach. And where we kind of get introduced as Dana is being held captive in her room by Juliette. At which point we have to go find evidence that it was not Dana. When we get into Dana's room, that's kind of where we start seeing a little bit of Dana's personality. Like you said, Jamie, she is school spirit, cheerleader through and through. She's got the uniform and everything. All the that's just uncontested.
And even the Halloween decorations as well on the box.
So yeah, I mean it's uncontested with you've got the Halloween decorations, like you said. It's huge school spirit. She's extremely extroverted. She seems like a really cool person. We also kind of find through snooping around that at one point she was pregnant.
Did anyone make the mistake thinking it was the flash drive?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. One. Oh no, what is that?
Why is there pee on it?
At which point she yanks it out of Max's hand, and you can rewind and bring it up without her knowing that you were snooping around.
Yeah.
It's not really. It's never. You never actually find out. It's hinted at who the baby daddy is, Logan, but it's never outright said.
Right.
Kind of is in episode 4. At the Vortex Club. Yeah. I'll kind of touch on it later on, though. If I remember. But yeah. Yeah, right. It's kind of touched on, and I'll explain why later.
Okay. Well, you can also find the note that Logan leaves. It's like scrawled and looks like Logan can barely write.
This is sad and pathetic.
Yeah. Where he says like, I'll do whatever
it takes to get you back.
Yeah. So which we'll talk about Logan a little bit too, but Dana is also pretty supportive of Max too. I mean, she's also kind of pushes for Max and Warren to get together, which
I know.
you could fault her on that, or you could commend her on that, but she's kind of your typical interested in relationships, teenage girl, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of jumping around here, but in episode 2, you got to see her like kind of posing for Hayden, right?
Right.
And after like Kate's suicide attempt that night, you see kind of Dana just up in the middle of the night, just thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, Max, get in here. And they kind of have like a somewhat heartfelt conversation about Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which I really like that.
Yeah. That's why Dana is a sweetheart, and she's number 2 Arcadia Bay for me. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree, Dana doesn't get as much love as she deserves.
Right. That kind of, I don't know. Does anybody have anything else on Dana?
Not really.
I kind of like that. She was surprised by Max arriving at the Vortex Club in episode 4.
4, yeah.
I keep forgetting that episode. Like what happens in the episode. You get to talk to her about Nathan, because no matter what, you always seem to have a good standing relationship with Dana. Mm-hmm. And she says that she hadn't seen him that night at all. Invites Max to dance with her and Trevor.
Oh, yeah, that's big. So she's actually in a relationship with Trevor, which is kind of interesting because Trevor isn't in the Vortex Club. He doesn't really fit into that clique. He's the skater, He's a little...
Because that's why Justin and Trevor had the argument in the 2 Wheels. Yeah.
Right.
So that's another cool thing about Dana is she doesn't, she's open-minded. And Trevor's a cool guy. I mean, we're not going to go into him too much because he's not in the Vortex Club, but he's a cool guy. He's a cool dude.
Feel sorry for him though after doing the tray flip in episode 1.
Yeah, Max's brutality. And then instead of comforting Trevor, just take a picture.
Just walk away.
Right, so yeah, they're currently in a relationship, and which you see them, like you said, dancing in episode 4.
Probably time to move on to the next person on the list, right?
Juliette. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Juliette Watson. So we don't see as much of Juliette, but she's pretty cool too. Aside from the whole, I mean, she's a little bit quick to judge, as you'll find out playing in the game, or as you know, playing through the game.
Oh yeah.
I hope you're not listening to this and have not played the game yet, because we're spoiler heavy. But
we put a
anyway,
warning in the episode.
Yeah.
That being said, if you want to listen to us, go ahead. But anyway, sorry, I go off on tangents a lot. So Juliette we see her blocking Dana inside of a room, at which point we have to go find evidence that it was not Dana, and we give it to Juliette, and Juliette apologizes, and they make up. Dana and Juliette do. So that's our first introduction to Juliette.
I mean, oh boy, I don't know. I'll come back to this when we're kind of talking about episode 2, Juliette, I guess.
Okay.
Because it kind of touches on the topic about, how judgmental she is, I guess.
Right.
I mean, episode 1, she's just kind of distraught about what happened with Victoria and Zachary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is completely understandable. I mean, if you find out, someone said, your best friend cheated on you, with your boyfriend, and then find out that the person who told you that actually did it themselves, you kind of want to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah. And then, toward the end of the episode, before you go...
talk to the guy, yeah.
Talk to Warren. You can talk to Juliette. You can find her sitting there, and she remarks about how Zach just kind of played it off as like, oh yeah, he just did it as a joke or whatever. Kind of dismisses his own guilt, I guess, for lack of a better word, his own involvement in it, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank.
Social experiment.
So, but Juliette is also, we find out she calls herself extreme reporter, but so she does, which is kind of why she was the focus of Victoria, like I said before. She does do some investigative journalism into the problems of Blackwell.
Yeah. Would it be alright if I started talking about episode 2 at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So kind of touching on when you said she's kind of judgmental about, I'm guessing you're specifically talking about Kate?
Yeah.
The video? Yeah. It's really interesting to see how quick her mind changed about that as soon as you talked to her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like kind of showing how, not really, it's like if you talk to her the right way, you can kind of change your mind about it.
Right.
Just saying, what you're doing is wrong. It's basically you're supporting bullying. Then
right.
Just kind of like, oh, whoops, won't share it anymore. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of, sure, she's quick to judge, but she's also like smart enough and, I guess mature enough to be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Actually, I shouldn't be doing this. It sucks that you have to present the example of like, oh, you like how Victoria did with you, like things aren't always as they seem, like Victoria and Zach. At which point, she changes her mind.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know. I think that's commendable. People make mistakes, but to be able to accept your mistake and be like, you're right. I shouldn't do this. That's cool.
Yeah, especially right off the bat as well. Gotta give him props.
Right.
Instead of just saying no, and just pushing it away.
Right. So, the Blackwell Totem is apparently the name of the newspaper, the school newspaper, that she is the reporter for. And I guess that's kind of like her area of expertise, is reporting, or like writing, like editorial writing and stuff. So you can kind of see that's her focus at the school.
I mean, I don't know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that the way her last name is Watson. I just kind of like investigating kind of stuff.
Wait, you mean it's not Olsen?
No. Get out. I don't know why. It might be an intentional nod to Sherlock Holmes and John Watson.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe, but once again, looking into things. I really.
And Juliette is voiced by Diane, correct?
Yep. That is correct.
Which we've done an interview with her.
Yeah.
I would love to redo that interview because we were so nervous. But
oh yeah, it was a
it's neither here nor there. Yeah.
Bring Jess into it as well.
Right. So, that's really. There's not too much more to Juliette. We do see her. I don't know. We kind of see her back with Zach, don't we?
Yeah.
In episode 4.
She didn't learn a lesson.
Yeah. Which, if you go into the VIP area, you kind of see that they're making out. So, next up is, do you want to do Taylor or Courtney next?
I'm guessing we should probably do the one that has the most known about them. So we should probably do Taylor.
Taylor, okay.
Yeah. So just so we can kind of go about who we know about less and less in that kind of way. Making no sense to me whatsoever, but let's do it anyway.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We can kind of trail off until we have nothing to talk about. And then we'll do... Right, so... Taylor Christensen.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Then.
She's one of the lackeys, the stooges for Victoria, but she's kind of also... I mean, she is, like, very much glued to Victoria, but at the same time, she kind of is, like, not 100% invested in all the stuff that Victoria is doing, but you kind of see. I don't know. It's kind of a mix though, because she does throw the note at Kate. Yeah. So, where do we want to start? Where do we want to start with her? We want to start there.
I wonder if she has any relation. You get like if she has an older brother called Hayden.
Yeah, maybe she does, and maybe that's why she's so bratty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if her brother hates sand.
Oh my god.
Anyway, back on topic. I just had to do that, sorry. Alright. Now, where should we begin?
I guess...
Just straight off the bat, episode 1.
Yeah. So she throws the note. We see her in class. She throws the note at Kate. It says, "Dear Kate, we love your porn video." So she kind of is very much a bully, but at the same time, when you talk to her and if you kind of like pay attention to her when she's around Victoria and stuff, she might just be doing it. Not that it's justified at all, but she might just be doing it to impress Victoria and to try to be part of that clique. So I don't know how I feel about her, to be honest.
I think she just kind of looks up to Victoria, kind of like how Chloe does to Rachel, but kind of in obviously like different ways, because obviously Chloe has this thing for Rachel that I don't necessarily think that Taylor has for Victoria, but also like she's kind of a bully in that way. So I feel like she kind of shows off, you know.
Are you like trying to say that Taylor is basically like kind of sticking with Victoria, knowing like of the support that Victoria gives, even though like Victoria is a pretty bad example to hang out with.
Yeah.
Considering that what she does to people like with Max and Kate.
Right.
And even with Samuel, I mean.
Yeah. I know.
Completely unloved.
In some ways, she's almost kind of worse than Victoria. Like, not only because, like, she does things she does these horrible things only to kind of, like, prove to Victoria that she's, you know, worthy of hanging out with her, you know? kind of just sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. She has good qualities and bad qualities, but I just don't know how I feel about her overall. But yeah, so you can talk to her. You can talk to her about her mom, which is where you find out, you know, I guess why she kind of sticks around Victoria in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Is because Victoria supports her and her mom and was kind of there for her. And I think probably Taylor would be surprised at how many people would be willing to support her if she
spoke out to it.
Spoke out and spoke to more people, but it's beside the point, I guess. So I don't know. What do you guys think about how she feels towards Max?
I know that Taylor considers Max to be weird, but in the good sense. You know, kind of knowing that Max isn't really ashamed of who she is. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Kind of, because if you talk to her about kind of comforting her about her mother's surgery, she kind of realizes that Victoria was kind of wrong about Max.
Right, yeah.
I assume when you say that Taylor thinks Max is weird, you're talking about where Victoria tells Taylor that she could hang out with Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because there's a very distinctive pause before she responds. I think that might just kind of be
kind of her thinking of an acceptable answer,
right?
Kind of without jeopardizing the relationship with
Victoria.
Yeah.
But it could be she could actually think that too. There's really not a whole lot on Taylor. You could. Well, okay, so she definitely is responsible for Kate's attempt or suicide, just because of her hand in the bullying. But she is. I actually have not done a playthrough with Kate dying, so because I just can't bring myself to do it. So I don't know what she says to Victoria. I should maybe watch a video to see what she says to Victoria, but you can find an email that she sends to Victoria after the attempt where she kind of says like, "Hey, we messed up."
Yeah.
To paraphrase.
We done goofed.
Yeah.
If you talk to her at night, where you find out that Victoria has snuck out, she also mentions that, you know, she has to be alone for her nightly anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Which I think probably to some degree she does suffer from that. And I think to some degree that's probably why she hangs out with Victoria, is because it's safe. I don't know. I mean, safe in the sense that if you do have anxiety like that, I don't know. It's very easy to be afraid of. Well, okay, I should speak more so to social anxiety, since I actually know what I'm talking about with that one. Social anxiety makes it very, very difficult to be in any sort of social setting. So if that is the kind of anxiety that she's suffering from, then it would make sense why she's playing the whole like, oh, I'm this cool clique girl hanging out with Victoria, being mean to everybody else type thing.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, should we move on to Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of got to rush this a little bit because our episode's almost at an hour now.
Yeah, we're rounding the bend. Not a whole lot to say about Courtney, to be honest. She's all right.
Yeah, voice acting is pretty tight on it. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm just kidding.
So she is voiced by Hannah. Oh, we should say Taylor is voiced by Ashley.
Yeah.
Courtney is voiced by Hannah. The only real interaction that you have with her is you can get her to put you on the VIP list by saying that you want her to help you with your fashion, with your outfit for the party. And then at the actual party, you can talk to her, and because Sarah is guarding the VIP area and she won't let you in. So you go find Courtney at the like little mini bar thing, and she'll let you in and then fire Sarah from the Vortex Club, kick her out.
I mean, if you don't have a good relationship, Courtney's like, no, why are you here?
Yeah.
No.
So you can get on the list, you can write yourself in on the list. If you do that, Courtney will say, this isn't even my handwriting, leave, Max. And then you can just not go that route at all, in which case that's where Courtney's like, why are you even here?
Yeah.
That's really, I don't know, there's really not too much to it.
I mean, with Victoria, it's kind of like, she's kind of like the lapdog, I guess.
Yeah.
Just going to get the towel. I don't know. Yeah, that's the only example I can think of, going to get a towel.
Courtney, there's a conversation I overheard, I think, where you hear that like Courtney is having to do some essay or something like that for Victoria. So Courtney kind of faces the brunt of Victoria's wrath, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, alright, if I remember correctly, kind of touching back to like the very beginning of episode 1, they're kind of talking, like, Courtney and Taylor are talking about Max when you kind of leave Jefferson's classroom. Unless I'm not remembering it correctly. I think so. Because I remember Taylor saying, she just has her face in that camera. You know that?
Could be, I don't remember.
I'll have to go back and play that.
What episode?
Episode 1. Very beginning of it.
Yeah, like right when she walks out of the classroom, right? When she goes to the bathroom, yeah.
Before she puts her headphones in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Something of that.
Yes. Okay, so should we continue trying to talk about Courtney, or should we move on to...
There's not much more about Courtney, to be honest, that I can think of. She's, I don't know, she's just there. There's not enough of her character for me to really formulate an opinion about her, but
right.
Apparently she's bad at statistics.
Yeah.
She asks for two
Fun facts.
Fun fact, yeah.
Fun fact, she's got eyes.
So I guess it's time for the guys of the Vortex Club, other than Nathan.
He's not really considered a guy, though.
Do we want to do Hayden, Zach, or Logan first?
Ooh. I don't know, Zach... Should we leave Zach out? Because, like we said, he's not really Vortex Club.
That was Trevor.
Oh, wait. Is Zach part of it? Wait. Oh,
yeah,
he's in the VIP section. I'm an idiot.
He's picking out Juliette, yeah.
Let's go Logan.
Okay. Logan's a douchebag. I'll say it. I don't like him. He is a drug purchaser. He is Labrador in Frank's
logbook,
yeah. Yeah, he's just kind of a dick. I don't know.
And he was apparently the one that got Dana pregnant, kind of
right.
We discussed earlier. And
right.
I don't really know much about relationships except for one that I can think of off the top of my head. And that's with him and Daniel.
Oh yeah, he's kind of
bully to Daniel, and even Max says to Logan, like, if you ever pick on Daniel again, I will come after you.
Yeah, in the VIP section, you can talk to Logan, scold him.
I was like, whoa, Max. Whoa, Maxaroni.
You can also scold him on how he handled the situation with Dana.
Yeah, terribly.
Yeah. So good for you, Dana.
Yeah.
For finding someone that will appreciate you, unlike
You're
Logan.
the real MVP.
Yeah. Not really a whole lot about Logan.
Just what we know about, you know. There's nothing that we really know about him. Except, you know, he's
on the football team.
Yeah.
He plays football, he bullies people. And he kind of reconsiders stuff after you shout at him.
Yeah.
So
at least he does that.
I'm sorry, you know. Totally twerk for me, Max. That is definitely a line in the actual thing, isn't it? In the game. Please tell me it is, otherwise I'm making a fool of myself.
It might be some.
Yeah.
We'll confirm or deny that later. Voiced by Don McManus.
Yeah. He's the voice of David.
Right. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, we don't see it at all. I guess he does have a little bit of a remorseful side to him in the letter that you find crumpled up. But generally, 2 thumbs down. I do not like Logan.
No.
That's my opinion. So
Understandable why, though.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm guessing some fans would dislike him. But if you do, leave a comment why.
Yeah.
Or
And-
2 people.
yeah. I mean, if you do, it's cool. But yeah, generally interested in why you like him.
Yeah. Anyway, next character, right? Hayden or Zach? Why would we let Jess choose this one?
Yeah.
Let's do Hayden, because
Right.
you know I like that name.
Of course.
I like Hayden. Hayden's like the chillest dude in the Vortex Club. He's also
You probably won't remember most of it because of how high he is.
he's probably high a lot, but which could be why he's so chill. But I don't know. He's a cool dude. I like him. His nickname is Indiana Jones,
Which is weird. I don't.
because his last name
How did that even happen? Oh.
His last name is Jones.
They have
So
the same initials, I think. Because I know Indiana Jones' first name is Henry.
Oh.
Henry Jones.
So that
Jr.
too. And that nickname could be just like, hey, we actually gave him his last name because of Indiana Jones because we couldn't think of anything. That's something I would do if I was writing characters. I don't know. It's like, Skywalker? No, I can't use
Casey.
Skywalker. Jones.
What about Casey, though?
No.
Hayden Casey?
No, Casey Jones. That'd
Oh,
be a cool nickname.
yeah.
To those who don't get it, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. The guy
I
with
like
the hockey mask.
Skywalker.
Of course you would.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Hayden's really chill, though. I mean, he's pretty welcoming he's pretty welcoming to new
Even-
people.
He even invites Max to the Vortex Club.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, even knowing that, you know, Victoria doesn't like her one bit. Even though Victoria secretly does, that we kind of forgot to touch about. Whoops.
Oh well. Another episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, he calls Max the retro selfie master.
Yeah.
It's great.
He gets pretty defensive over Nathan, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know, because Hayden is very chill, but he's also like, he's loyal to his friends. You kind of see from that, like, he talks about how, you know, Nathan is essentially just the punching bag. I think he says he's the voodoo doll of Blackwell, but which means he's like just constantly manipulated by people and all that. But he's like, he sticks up for Nathan, which I think is a cool quality, because he doesn't do it in a super like dickish way by like putting anybody else down. He does it just like, hey, you don't know Nathan, like you don't really get Nathan, like, so maybe you shouldn't talk about him, you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool of Hayden. That's one reason why I like him. Yeah, we don't see him a whole lot. We see him at the party, the dank OG bud. which is one of my favorite lines. It's so stupid. Where he talks about how he just vaped some dank OG bud. And then, I don't know, do we see him anywhere else, really?
No. None that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
I mean... Oh boy, I'm trying to remember, like, off the top of my head. I remember he's high in the Vortex Club, he's high outside the Blackwell dorms.
Right.
That's it.
You see him in Chloe's dreams a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
He is also voiced by Don McManus.
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think, he kind of ends the conversation so that he needs to study for a test, but
Yeah.
probably not
Yeah,
that.
right.
He's like science or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he does seem like a smart dude. He seems like, I don't know, he's a cool dude.
Maybe he takes
My opinion is 2 thumbs up. Yeah.
That's fair.
Anyway,
Zach.
Zach, yeah. I don't like
Zachary
his voice.
Riggins.
Don't like his voice.
He's voiced by Derek. Who is
Who's
Jefferson and Samuel.
Oh.
Samuel. Samuel.
Samuel.
He's kind of scum. Kind of.
Yeah.
You kind of got to talk to him in episode 2, right?
Mhm.
But
He's not, like, outright scummy. I mean, he does sex
generic
with
jock,
Victoria.
right?
Yeah. He's dumb. He's not the brightest. But we do see him bullying, what's that guy's name?
Daniel.
Luke.
Oh,
No,
Luke,
we
right.
see him bullying Luke. He shoves Luke into a locker.
All right. I'm gonna go off a tangent because he reminds me of a certain character from a completely different video game, right?
Okay.
So there's a video game out there made by Rockstar called Bully, right?
Yeah.
He reminds me of a character called Russell.
I'm not familiar.
A Russell is like a really big dude, just like full of testosterone,
Gotcha.
just that kind of guy. Don't know why I drew the comparison, but then again, I come up with weird things in this show. Yeah. Anyway,
Zach is the one that alerts everybody that Kate's about to jump.
yeah,
He runs into Jefferson's class.
as well as hitting Alyssa over the head with the football.
Yeah. So he gets a text, throws the football to the ground, and then it hits Alyssa in the head.
Or Alyssa. And if you do rewind, breaks a window.
Yeah. Which is an optional photo.
I mean, yeah. Oof.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's all I can remember, really. I mean, except I guess we don't really want to touch on Sarah because she really isn't in the game, like for like 2 minutes.
Right. Sarah's
Yeah.
just a little punk that keeps you from getting in the VIP area that gets kicked out of the Vortex Club if you're friends with Courtney.
Voiced by
She's
Ashley Butch.
yeah.
matter
She
what
is
she
completely
does, like-
inconsequential otherwise.
Yeah, she won't let you in. It's like even if your name is on the list.
Right. She says because she's not Courtney.
Yeah.
Like she's, so she's irrelevant beyond that. Can you find Zach's phone in episode 3? Whose phone is it that you find? I think it's Zach's, right? Because you can read the sext with this that he has with Victoria.
In the locker room?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it
boy.
Zach?
I can't remember.
You can find it's maybe it's Logan. It's Zach or Logan, one of them. You can, but anyway, where he says he's just wearing his jacket, sitting on his football, and I thought that was funny because that is dumb. It's a dumb thing to say. But I don't know. Do you guys have anything else about Vortex Club? Anybody in the Vortex Club or?
I don't think so.
Got pretty good mix of music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ, what's his face?
Was it
DJ What's his face?
Oh, is that his name?
No, I don't know.
He does have a. I think they do name him, but anyway, the song in the End of the World Party is "Got Well Soon" by Breton, which I really like that song. I was listening to it on repeat to get in mindset.
Okay, so it was actually interesting to see that someone actually made a mix of that of the entire half hour, of the music that was played on the Vortex Club. So yeah, props to whoever did that. Can't remember the name because, boy, it was a long time ago to last listen to that. I've just been caught up with this, so.
That's awesome. Also, one thing real quick. If anybody knows the song that was playing in Victoria's room before she slams the door, it's kind of like a hip-hop-y type song. Please let me know, because I like it, and I want to see if I like the whole song or not. So if you know what that song is, because it's not listed anywhere, it's not credited anywhere, so I can't remember exactly what episode it is, but it's like Victoria is talking to Taylor, I think, and then slams the door like as you walk up.
Fun fact, it's not actually Danny Knight's voice in Victoria, though.
Oh, really?
It's Diane.
Oh, dang.
Really?
Yeah, if you listen back to it, it's definitely Diane actually doing the voiceover for Victoria. I don't know why, but when you listen to it, you can definitely hear it's Diane.
Huh.
As crazy as it may seem, yeah. I was shocked when I was listening to it. I was like, wait, that's not... What? Just got confused. Anyway. So yeah,
if you know what that song is, let me know.
Yeah, let him know. Okay. So we should definitely move on to Everyday Heroes, right?
Everyday Heroes, yep.
Okay, to those who are unfamiliar, what Everyday Heroes is, it's a segment towards the end of the show where we like to appreciate the community with the content that it creates, whether it be fan art, cosplay, videos, music. It can be anything at this point. If we get your permission for it, and we like it, or if you submit it to us, we'll probably use it in a future episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, obviously this week is Vortex Club themed, and we're going to start off with Joey this week.
So... this picture is nuts, but I like it. It's very like, I don't know, abrasive, but not with the negative connotation of abrasive. So I think it kind of sticks to the, I guess, like the mania, the kind of psychosis. Like it captures psychosis well, I think. It reminds me a lot of like horror games and stuff like that, which I'm a big fan of. Like just with the colors, it's very bright. It is very bright because of the red. But then also they use the image from the Darkroom poster, and but they've done it with Nathan, which I thought was kind of cool. And then they have Nathan's scrabblings of Rachel in the dark room, and all in all, I think like the lines are really cool on it. They kind of like rotoscope type, or I think it's rotoscope's what it's called, type imagery for it. This is by Fantaziel, I don't know.
The reputation of names on the podcast.
Yeah. On DeviantArt, and he's actually a listener of us too. I've been listening to us for a while now. So, thank you for that. And, cool image. I mean, I don't know. Like, I definitely see this being a piece that people might have contrary opinions to, but I like it. I think it's really cool. And I think the lines are really well done. I don't know. It's So
yeah, it looks like something that Max would draw on a window or something, you know.
Right.
Like it has the picture in the front, the white one. It kind of like it has that like the similar style in the game, and I think that's genius.
Yeah, like the creepy "What are you looking at?" doodle that
Yeah.
Max draws. It's kind of similar.
So cute.
I don't know where to start.
It's your problem.
I mean, okay. I've said this a lot in the past in previous episodes. I just, when I'm doing this segment, I tend to stare at each art, at the artwork, and I'm just staring. I feel like, to those who have seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there's a scene in the museum where I think the character's name's Cameron is just staring at a painting constantly.
Yeah.
I feel exactly like Cameron right now.
Are you okay? Are you gonna sink to the bottom of a pool?
Probably. Probably drive like Ferrari like out of a window or something. Yeah, I love the style of it. Like you guys said, very reminiscent like Max's journal in the front and the front image in the foreground is like the darkroom poster, like you said, Joey. I just love it. Like the different contrast of colors with the bright red and then the black, the brown, grey, purple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the inclusion of purple as well. I like purple.
Yeah. And I like the blue eyes too. That really stuck out to me as well.
Yeah. Anyway,
now I've got Behind Blue Eyes stuck in my head.
Yeah.
All right, so my choice this week is called Finale Nathan by Zemka on DeviantArt. And so basically this piece really captivated me, you know, in the sense of its creepiness. It captures what's like going through Nathan's mind and how it shows how messed up he really is, and it really shows his vulnerability and, you know, his own demons that he really can't escape, you know, no matter how many people he kills or meds he takes. But anyways, I really like the colors that this artist used in this piece, like the maroonish background. I really thought that was cool because it kind of represents blood, and, you know, the white hands and the scribbles really stuck out to me as well. So, and, you know, also shirtless Nathan is always a plus. So
I was gonna point that out. I was like, yeah, she probably chose because Nathan is shirtless. Something's wrong with you, Jess.
What? I'm a girl.
I know, but
there's nothing wrong with me.
Well,
okay, never mind.
I love that the background's kind of reminiscent of the sketch that was on the computer, you know, with like Rachel in the dark room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's scribbled out.
Yeah.
I love Nathan's eyes in this image though, because it kind of showed like a sense of paranoia, and like he looks tired, like really tired. Either that, he's been crying a lot, which he does a little bit in the game.
Yeah.
Just a teeny weeny bit from what I remember, like in episode 4 and 5, or mainly just 5. Yeah,
4 too. If you let Warren continue, he's kind of sobbing on the ground.
Yeah, so he does cry a little bit. Yeah.
The hands remind me of. This is a stupid comparison, but it reminds me of the Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time with the wall masters and the floor masters, which I like. It has a very shadow. I don't know. It's so stupid, but it's like Nathan is in the Shadow Temple.
This is gonna sound really, really dumb.
But
then again, when isn't what I say? So there's like the pale hands, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know why they remind me, like, it could be symbolizing Rachel, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they are feminine looking, especially the one on his face.
Yeah, kind of showing like the regret that he did killing Rachel. Maybe like his eyes showed like, oh no, you can't sleep because of it.
Actually, that's not dumb at all, Jamie. I'm gonna go. I will rarely compliment you, but that's actually a good thing, because I bet. Well, I don't know. I would be willing to put like $1 on that. Might be what Zemco was going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also the like the paleness is like kind of like, you know, she's dead now, so
Whoops.
But I mean, I feel like the contrast between the skin tones was an obvious or like a purposeful thing. Not obvious. Well, it is obvious, but it's a purposeful thing. So I think you're onto something, Jamie.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Plus,
It's the only time I'll ever say that.
I'm starting laughing because at the top left, you know, like the huge circle, and then there's like the two smaller ones and the larger circle.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a face just screaming at him, like no.
It does.
Yeah. Like a shy guy.
Hey, it's Rachel. It's Rachel.
Rachel looks more like body bag and dirt now. So. Right.
Your choice, Jamie.
Yeah. So my choice is actually from a previous winner from Everyday Heroes, from the Rachel Amber episode, and it's by Popova Jr. on DeviantArt, and I chose the Victoria Chase piece because, you know, I'm not Nathan Prescott trash like the both of you. Oh boy, I love Popova's work on DeviantArt. Like with the Rachel, they've done really, really good Chloe pieces as well. Mm-hmm. And just seeing like Victoria artwork, I don't know why. There's not really that much fan art of her out there. It mainly seems to be around Max and Chloe, and sometimes Kate.
Yeah.
But if you've seen like more artwork of like minor characters like Victoria, Nathan, Jefferson, unfortunately, you know, people like that, it's kind of a nice relief to see, you know? And I just love this. I mean, she's in her episode 4 outfit when she's in the Vortex Club, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, her eyes are just like really, really freaking expressive. She kind of got like the vanity kind of look.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I like how it looks like a portrait that rich people get painted of themselves to hang up in their foyer.
Yeah.
Which it's like super arrogant, but rich people do it for some reason. But yeah, it is really well done. And you're right, you don't see a whole lot of Victoria stuff. Fantasgel, if you like that's their style, they have some Victoria stuff, but we had Taylor's Victoria like cosplay cost test thing. There's not a whole lot out there.
I've seen one Victoria cosplay, you know, like, which I've seen. It's out there. I kind of don't really want to give their name out on the air yet because I haven't really got permission from them yet.
Yeah, it's a good idea then.
So I'll just I might tweet it out unofficially, you know, on my personal account in the future. Well, if
I'd like to see
get
it.
permission, you know, just throw it out there. But yeah,
right.
I just love this piece. What about you, Jess? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed everything. I was really, when I first looked at this, I was kind of drawn into, as you would normally say, the hair. Yeah. I think they did a really good job on that. Even the little like wisps in the back, I thought that was brilliant. Like, I don't know, I really like how they kind of took Victoria and made her into like they took her, like, you know, her features, but they kind of made them look more realistic, which I thought was really brilliant of them. So yeah, I mean, I like how the background, I like the color of it. It kind of complements her, and yeah, that's pretty much all I've got on this piece.
Yeah, I mean,
captures the attitude well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of seeing this picture, right? It kind of, you know the way that when you look at an individual and you kind of look for similarities of a person?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've just spotted who this portrait of Victoria looks like to me.
Who?
Emily Bett Rickards, who plays Felicity Smoke and Arrow.
No clue who that is.
Yeah, I kind of see it.
Yeah. Then again,
she would be a good if they made a Life is Strange movie. I think she could pull that off.
Yep.
I think she could pull off Victoria. That would be my cast. suggestion. if anybody wants to know, that's who I would suggest. But
I would pick Natalie Dormer as Victoria.
You would pick Natalie Dormer as anybody.
Yeah.
You would pick Natalie Dormer as Mark Jefferson. Yeah, as Lisa. It's like Natalie Dormer sitting in the corner with like leaves stuck in her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a future episode.
Can we actually do that?
If we like, maybe we can talk about a Life is Strange movie and like who we would cast in it.
Sweet, and then I'll draw them all up like I'm doing for my English project.
That would be cool. Anyway, yeah, thanks to everyone who submitted in this episode, got permission for. And if you want to submit your artwork, send it to us via email at blackwellpodcast@hotmail.com. Tweet it to us at blackwellpdcast. What else is there?
You can find us on Tumblr. We're blackwellpodcast.tumblr.com. You can message us on there. I'm trying to be more active about it. I think I've been doing a decent job of responding to people now. But anyway, so you can message us on Tumblr. You can find us on DeviantArt if you want to shoot us a note on there that says like, "Hey, look at my work."
Yeah, we don't post anything on there, but we do have an account.
Yeah.
Because we find artists are quite active on DeviantArt, so we just throw a message their way. So like,
Tumblr and DeviantArt are the big places to find art.
Sometimes Instagram as well.
Yeah.
You
want to make the announcement?
Okay, so there's kind of a good news and a little bit of bad news as well. So the good news is we have a guest announcement who's worked on the game, and that is Sissy Jones, who is the voice of Joyce Price.
Yep.
That's the good news. But the bad news is we are not taking questions for her yet.
Right.
Because we have community guests that we are getting questions for at the moment, such as next week, where we have the wonderful Chloe cosplayer Amethyst Leon.
Yep. So make sure you get questions in for Amethyst by
Friday.
Yeah, Friday, March 11th. We'll be doing that on the 13th.
Should have the episode out the 14th, hopefully.
Yeah. My mom's birthday is on the 12th, and I'm taking her out, so that's why we're delaying it today. After that, we have some more guests. We do have a guest list on our website, which is blackwellpodcast.com. You can check that out. I'll add Sissy to it. We should say until after we get questions for Amethyst, we're probably going to ignore any questions for anybody else until we're done with Amethyst, because
including Sissy, yeah.
Yeah. We want to community guests is one thing, because there's a lot of people that might not know about, even though we're picking prolific people, still the outreach is a little bit weird, as our artists that have submitted and all that know. So that's kind of why when we do have community guests, we want to put a lot of focus into getting questions for just them, so they don't get overlooked, because it is an honor for us, because we are really big fans of their work. So it is still an honor for us to get to talk to them about their love for Life is Strange and all that,
as well as the work that they put into their respectable art format.
Right.
And so we won't be accepting questions for Sissy at the moment, but with with Amethyst and Kofa, right?
Kofa is March 26th.
Yes, we'll be accepting questions for both, but we really want you to prioritize your question for Amethyst, so we can get as many as we can, and then just get them ready for that episode.
Right.
It will be an episode, though.
It will be, yeah. She's cool.
Yeah, hilarious.
And of course, as we get closer to each guest, we'll hype it up, let you know again. But thank you so much. Again, you can follow us, any of those aforementioned things. We're most, I guess, not active. We tweet a lot more than we do anything else. So follow us on Twitter to keep up with our news. I'm trying to do a better job about Tumblr. Thanks so much for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe to us, like the video. If you have anything you want to talk to us about, you can comment to us. You can email us. Yeah, we love you all very much. And
an important thing that we don't really talk about in every episode, but if you do have an idea for an episode in the future, please let us know in the emails.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten some cool ideas already that we are very strongly considering. So
putting into our schedule, because right now we have got until April, right? Planned out?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're kind of busy with that, but afterwards we could have your idea, and we will mention your idea on the show, and say who basically gave the idea.
Right.
Because, you won't go unnoticed. We'll let you know, hey, this person came up with this idea.
And I'll probably try to email you and let you know that we're going to be using it.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, thank you so much. As always, we love you guys and gals and folks, and you're awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. See ya.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Bye.